Padres, here's the question and the burning headline, because we are now a week out from the baseball trading deadline. Will the Padres be forced to become sellers, or are they buyers? Do they still have a hope? Juan Soto, Blake Snell, two marquee names. What do you do with them? All that to be probably decided within this next week based on who they play. But here's John, here's the question. I'm going to give you some statistics. I'm going to ask you what offends you the most, not just the win and loss record of the Padres. 220 batting average, runners in scoring position, second worst in baseball with a 253 million payroll. Or is it 0-9 in extra innings with all these big time bats and the inability to score with guys at second base in the extra inning? Their record is 2-39 when they trail in the eighth inning of games. When they play substandard teams, 500 or less, they're 30-34 on the season. One-run games with that big batting order, they're 6-14. And in games decided by either one or two runs, they are 17-30. How can you be 10 games behind? How can you be in seventh place in the wild card race with all these historical bats, with Joe Musgrove with a 2.00 ERA in his last 11 starts, with Blake Snell with a 0.58 ERA in his last 11 starts, and you still got Yu Darvish, and you got one of the lead closers in baseball in Josh Hader? How the hell can you be as bad as they are? Pirates, 3-game series. Then they get first place Texas. Then they got to go to Colorado, where historically they've struggled. Then they get the enemy, the Dodgers, for 4. Then they got to go to Seattle, which is in the pennant race, and they got to go to Arizona, which has started to find itself again. 18 of the next 28 are on the road after having gone through a 10-game roadie just completed. So, John, what offends you about the team that right now is 7th, fighting for 3 positions in the wild card race? What blows your mind?
I think it's the batting average with runners in scoring position, because that's the core problem. And you explained all the different symptoms that it's created. But when you have these kinds of players, they need to produce. They need to have productive hitting, and they've improved lately. But still, the track record for this season, they've dug such a big hole. And here we are a week away from the trade deadline, and you're still not sure what A.J. Preller is going to do.
And Bob Melvin, yesterday, Sunday, after the crummy performance in Detroit against a AAA pitching staff, Bob Melvin says, we need more fire. It is game 100 of the season, and he's still lecturing his players about showing up, being on the edge, being aggressive, being ready to play. We need more fire. It's just, there's something so wrong from a chemistry standpoint. Dugout, leadership, into this clubhouse. Excuse me, it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, it's bananas. And so, I mean, in our last podcast, we talked a little bit about who's the leader, who's the team captain, who's the vocal leader. And you go through that roster and, it's Musgrove, but on offense, you're not sure who it is. You would hope that it's Manny. But to me, if there's a guy who's a leader and you're down in the 7th inning, they're the ones that are rallying the troops. But now when they're down in the 7th inning, they almost always lose.
You're watching us on live stream, you got a question, or if you got a statement pertaining to Padre baseball, send it to us in chat right now. Let's go from that team